So, I am going to try and do a sculpture every day here in Blender. So, what I'm going to do is delete these objects. Let's add a UV sphere, and we're just going to start working on that. So let's now I'm using the industry standard key mapping. So my key mapping is a little bit different. So I actually hit 5 to go into sculpture mode. I hit S on the keyboard to scale my brush, and I click, and I'm going to turn on the symmetry there, and then I'm just going to start trying to draw something. I'm going to press G for my grab brush, and I'm going to just start pulling things and try to just start shaping my character. The reason I'm trying to do this is because I suck at sculpting, and I see so many people who are awesome at sculpting, and I want to get better at sculpting. So I've watched a bunch of videos to give me tips on how to sculpt, and I decided if I could do a sculpture once a day, that maybe eventually I will get better at sculpting. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I have I'm just using the grab brush to make a general shape of a head. Hopefully this will do. Keep it at low poly for now. I'm going to hit M for mask, S to scale it down. I think I'm going to maybe mask something like this, and then Control I to invert it, and then I'm going to go back to my grab brush, and we're just going to start pulling down some vertices here. And yes, they are very low poly, but that's fine because they won't be low poly forever. Okay, and then Control A to deselect from that mask. Scale that down a little bit. I'm just going to try and get as much mileage out of this low poly as possible. Now obviously I can't keep it in low poly forever, but we're going to keep it in low poly to get the general form. Okay. So, also another good thing to do is up here in the view, change the focal length to like 100 instead of 50. It's better for sculpting. You get less distortion when you're doing it. Now I have a I have a pen tablet, but I have to go change some settings real quick. The second key needs to be a middle click. So when I have the second key on the middle click, I can actually pan now. Because I'm using, like I said, I'm using the industry standard key mapping. So Alt middle click pans for me, Alt left click rotates, and Alt right click zooms in and zooms out. So I can do that with my pen as well when I have everything mapped correctly. So I'm going to use this draw sharp brush to start laying in some let's actually use just the draw brush. Try and start getting some eye sockets and some noses in here. And I like to try and keep with general proportions. I'm not really working with a reference right now. I know people say you should work with a reference, and you should. I just don't. I haven't pulled one up. I mean, I know the general proportions of the face. But having general proportions can get you into a lot of trouble. Okay, so I'm going to actually remesh this. So I'm going to hit Shift R, and I'm going to probably go to, let's go around there, and then hit Control R, and then that remeshes it, and it gives me a lot more geometry to work with. So I'll go at this level for a little while. I hold Shift to smooth it out a little bit, and then I'm going to go back to M again, scale that down. Let's put the ear about right here. I'm going to do the same thing, Control I, grab the grab brush, pull out some ears here. See how much more geometry is there? That's awesome. I'm actually going to do something here real quick before I get too far. I know, huge ears, right? It's okay. Everything can be adjusted. Okay, so Control A. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to remesh this again, Control R, because I pulled out that geometry, and since I haven't done anything else on the face, I'm just going to remesh that geometry. So let's go up to this Draw Sharp brush, and I'm just going to kind of define some areas a little bit more. Shift to smooth things out. I like to define some areas. I'm going to grab the clay strips brush, and I'm just going to start eating out some areas here. Right here along the cheek. We want to build up the mouth a little bit because it sticks out a little bit. We want to build up the nose a little bit. G, and then I'll go to G to kind of like hope everything is. I'm going to go to remesh, nope, under here, and I'm going to symmetrize it just to be sure that everything, see, something was off for some reason. So I symmetrized it to make sure the symmetry was working. I have the X on, I don't know why it was doing that. So go back to the Draw Sharp brush. Now, there are shortcuts for these. I've actually added my own shortcuts, so I can't really help you there. Because like this shortcut is the same. I think it's D, and then I added Shift D for Draw Sharp. So D goes back to the regular brush that you can like eat things away and add to, smooth out. And I'm not. I know general structures of the face. I don't have a reference on me. I know everybody's got a temple here. I know your cheekbone comes up like this, right? Your jawbone, right? And then we'll finesse that a little bit. Let's go back to the grab brush. Okay, let's get the Draw Sharp brush, and let's eat in a little bit of a mouth area. Zoom in a little bit. Grab the grab brush. Let's give some lips to this dude. Some nice hot lips. Let's pull it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to actually go to the clay strips brush again. Build some areas up a little bit. Let's get a little bit of the chin. It's kind of starting to look like a duck mouth. I don't want a duck mouth. Dig out all the areas. Grab brush. I might have to look at some reference here. Okay. Oops. The grab brush is your friend. That's way too far back. Let's go grab that clay brush again. I mean, I like moving everything, but if it comes to a point where it just is easier to just block it in real quick with the clay strips, then I like doing that. Okay, so let's do this. Clean out that a little bit. We'll add a little bit of a ball here for the eyeball. I'm not the best with eyeballs, so when we get to that, we'll see how it works. But I think the idea is you try and make these shelves, right? Like shelves and planes. If you have these like planes and shelves, then your model will look better. I like having these. I like the look of the harsh planes. Okay. So let's go back to the draw sharp brush. See, the problem I've run into is sometimes the seams don't work out. So you have to, when you get to that point, I think you have to like remesh a little bit. So if I remesh, let's see what happens. Oh geez, no, I don't want to do that. So let's actually go down. So Shift R, let's go down a little bit more. Let's try like 0.09 and then remesh. Okay, so that gives me some more geometries to work with. Hopefully. And I know there's a lot of other ways to do things, like I know people use the multi-resolution modifier. I've used that a bit, and I'll probably use it in this as I get. This is probably the highest level of remeshing that I'm going to do, and then I think I'll probably multi-res modifier. I'm trying to puff this up a little bit, give this guy a little bit more luscious lips. I'm going to use the scrape brush as well, because the scrape brush gives it that hard polished look. I think it's called polish in ZBrush. But that stupid mouth is just terrible. I'm not sure what to do about it. There's like these two little divots there that are causing problems. Okay. So I'm just doing the draw sharp, and then I doing the control with the draw sharp to kind of give it a harsh edge. But see if you work at it, you can start getting results. I know it takes a little while. Look at that. Big luscious lips. You just want to. Okay, let's move these lips a little bit. I'm holding. I just press S, and then I drag my cursor how big I want those. That brush. More. Okay, so now they're sticking out a little bit too far, I think. So if I want to, so I'm going to press M to get into mask, and then I'm going to like mask this off real quick because I want to adjust that lip, but I don't want to adjust the rest of it. I feel like that lip was going down a little bit much. Control A, go back to the scrape brush. Let's polish that sucker up a little bit. Okay. Okay. So, sorry, I kind of focused on that mouth a little bit. Okay. Shift D. Let's get some more details in here. Let's kind of define the nose a little bit. Get a little bit of nostrils in there. Oops, a little bit too small. Let's polish that nose up a little bit. Don't be afraid of the nostrils. Everybody has them. I remember when I was drawing humans as a child, I would kind of like, or as, you know, teenager or whatever, I would kind of like de-emphasize the nose as much as I could because it's like, oh, it's a nose. But, you know, everybody's got a nose. This is looking all right. Until I get to the eyeballs, then I'm going to screw it all up. Okay, let's look at the proportions here. So I think the ears can come down a little bit. Let's start sculpting some of the ears. Now, for the ears, I do have to pull up reference because I can never remember what it does. Okay, so let's go to my draw sharp brush. You got this. This comes in like this. It's kind of got. It's kind of like a 2. Hold on, let's try this. I think it's a little too high. So we've got our main little flappy thing here. Let's see, I know this comes around like this, obviously. It comes off and this like goes down. Just using like this. Jeez, just gonna fake it, right? Although you should, I mean, I'm sure everything has like names for things. I just don't know the different names of the ear, of parts of the ear. Oops. Just use that to dig in and dig out. I mean, if we were doing it by ears, if everybody's ears are different, if we were doing my ears, these would look terrible. I have weird ears. They're like elven ears. So we definitely won't be drawing my ears. Come on. This is terrible. Sorry about this. I think I might need a little bit more resolution in here too. So maybe next time, maybe when I'll have to get back to the ear after I add a little bit more resolution. Let's sharpen it up a little bit. Okay, let's sharpen all this up a bit. Smooth it, sharpen it, get some nice harsh edges. I'm going to call this one generic male, because that's what it is. It's a generic male head. But I'm really liking Blender sculpting. It's fun. It helps to have a tablet, so if you don't have a tablet, you really can't do any of this. And if you can, then more power to you. But I think drawing actually really helps with sculpting. I've never actually done sculpting in real life, like clay or anything, but I'm sure that would help too. I always avoided those classes in high school. I'm like, I don't want to do sculpting, I'll just do drawing. Occipital Protuberance, I know the name of that. That's what this is at the back. Everybody's got this little bone on the back of their head that goes down. And the only reason I know the name for that is because I've been made fun of for my occipital protuberance by my sister, who's a massage therapist. All right. Let's do some eyebrows and some stuff. Let's see how this looks. If we put in some temporary eyebrows here, okay. Let's see, what do males' eye sockets look like? And if you have any, suggestions on how I could do this better, just let me know. I'm not perfect, obviously. I'm learning this. So I saw a technique, and I think I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to add a sphere. I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to move it over here, scale it down. Okay, well, actually, I'm going to do two things here. So let's put in an eyeball here first, right? Alt-X on my machine. I don't know what it is on yours. But to go into X-ray mode, I'm going to add a modifier, a mirror modifier. So that will be the eyeball eventually, I think. And actually, doing this, I can see the head is way too fat. Let's go back into sculpt mode. Let's grab brush. Pretty sure this has got to come in. Let's go to the top mode too, because the head, okay, that's looking pretty good. It's a little wider in the back than it is in the front. Okay. So for the eyeballs, so what I'm going to do, let's name these ones eyeballs. I'm going to actually duplicate that. Control D, escape. I'm going to make these ones the lids. I'm going to hide the eyeballs for now. And then for the lids, I'm going to go into edit mode, and then I'm going to select these loops, and I'm going to delete them, I think. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to delete all these. Nope. I'm going to delete all these ones. And then I'm going to go into edge mode. I'm going to inset. I'm going to inset these. Oh no, I got to extrude them first. So I'm going to extrude them, and then I'm going to scale them in a little bit, and then I'll extrude them up. I'll extrude them up a little bit. Whatever, it doesn't matter because they're going to be... Okay. So these are going to be the eyelids. Okay. I'm going to start... Let's turn on the eyeballs. I'm going to start sculpting the eyelids around the eyeballs now. Okay. And we'll see what happens. I saw another person do this. I thought it was like, oh, that's great, because I always struggle with the eyelids. I know it sounds dumb that I always struggle with the eyelids, but I do. Let's go back into this one, the main face. We're going to eat away some of this geometry so that we can see our eyeballs. And I'll kind of like build up to these eyeballs, because I think I'm going to eventually merge them, join them. Actually, I think I'm going to put in some more another eyelid below. So let's do this. A lower lid. Get more of a brow up here. I think it's lacking in the brow space. Maybe that's too Cro-Magnon. I don't know. Okay, so let's go back to this eyeball. Let's duplicate it. Let's turn off the eyeball so I have it. Let's just move it up. Edit mode, Alt X, 3. I know these shortcuts are probably not anywhere close to what you do, but I'm going to delete those faces, and then I go into, unless you use the industry standard like I do, 2 to go into the edge mode, Control E, and actually I'm going to change this to XYZ, so because I can go like that and know exactly where it's going. R to scale, I'm going to scale it in, Control E to go down a little bit, R, scale it in, Control E to go down, R, scale it in. And I'm hoping once all this gets joined and then remeshed, the geometry won't matter. Alt X. Okay, so let's turn on the eyeballs again. All right, so now we have, let's go back into sculpt mode. Let's get rid of some of this more geometry. Maybe those eyeballs are too big, but I kind of like them big like that. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's go to the, okay, it's this one, eyeballs. Let's just rename that to lids, lower, just so I know it. Okay, so let's go hit 5, go to grab, oops, I'm in the wrong thing. Let's go to lower lids, hit 5, grab. Okay, so now we can start doing these. And these ones, I think they're back a little bit more than our upper lids. Oops. And the reason I like doing it like this is because it gives this nice, clean, sharp line that is a little bit harder to get when you're just strictly sculpting. So let's pull those back, and then we'll go back to the upper lids, go back into sculpt mode, and then I think these ones, let's look from the side here. So they kind of will overlap. Let me just look at someone's eyeballs. Yeah, top ones are kind of more the dominant ones. Not that dominant. But the bottom ones, so if you use the regular Blender key mapping, while you're in sculpt mode, you can hit Alt Q to switch between models. You can't do that when you use the industry standard key mapping. So I will say this: there are definitely a lot of concessions that I have to give. I have to give up a lot of shortcuts and stuff like that because of the key mapping that I use. I can still get things done, but some things just might not be as efficient as with the Blender key mapping. Now, I could go through and create that key mapping myself, which I've done with a bunch of other things. I just have to take the time and do that. Okay, so let's see what kind of eyeballs we want to give this guy. What kind of shape to this eyeball. That's pretty good. I know, they look like, oh, they're bulging out. But one good thing is I can select all 3 of these. I'm like, oh, they're too bulgy. Let's pop them back a little bit. Okay, so just, so that goes down. So I could probably come in towards his nose a little bit. So let's, I think I can do this. Select all of them and then hit 1, Control A, and then scoot them all. Okay. So I'm going to have to get rid of some of the geometry here just to accommodate these massive eyeballs. Okay. I'm going to save this. Okay. Okay. Let's adjust that nose a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do here. I'm going to first, I'm going to apply the mirror modifiers on all of those. Then I'm going to actually, let me see what it looks like when I subdivide it. Subdivide, that's not bad. Subdivide this one again, or this one now. That's pretty good. So I'll apply those. Okay, so I'm going to join them now with my head. So now when I go into sculpt, I can see that. So I'm going to now, I know I said I wasn't going to, but I think I'm going to remesh this again. I think if I do this, it will give me the, yeah, let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. I don't know what's happening up here. Is it because they weren't sealed completely? Let's turn off the eyeballs. Let's see what happens. That is a mess. Okay, well, let's see what happens. To make sure, let's symmetrize it. Okay, oh, this is looking pretty rough. Okay, I might have to do some undos here. See, what is that doing? Okay. I'm going to go back. Okay, I think I'm going to close. See how they're open? I think I'm going to fill those. So let's see if that works. That's fine. Not going to see it. I just think it was messing it up having that open geometry. So I'm just going to select that, and we're going to fill. Okay. You know what I also have? I have quad remesher installed. Let me see what will happen if I do this. I'm going to turn on the statistics. So if let's quad remesh this to like, let's see what happens. I'm going to do it for 1,000. That's pretty good. I'm going to do the same for this one. Okay. Quad remesher is a paid plugin, so if you don't have it, sorry. But it's really, it cleans up your geometry and just makes it really nice. It was like $40 or something. Okay. Those eyeballs are looking fantastic. So now I'm going to try and I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to try and add it again to this guy. Join. So just right click, and then go into sculpt, remesh it. Let's try 0.007. Let's just try that. See what that does. Okay. Oh, what the hell is happening over here? You know what I bet is happening? Let's go back out. So let's turn on, where is it? The normals, face orientation. Oh no, they're all faced normally. I'm not sure what's happening. Let's just try it again. Join, go into sculpt mode. Here, I'll turn off face orientation because it's, so we're in sculpt mode. Let's 0.007. Well, let's just remesh it. It's probably going to do the same thing. Yep. What is going to happen if I symmetrize it? Okay, that fixes that. So the little things we got to clean up, that is completely fine. All right, problem solving. Okay. So let's start smoothing this out a little bit. We can grab our draw sharp brush and kind of just go in here, smooth it, draw it. See, but now that I know it seems like it took a while to get these eyeballs in place, but one of the advantages is you've already got this nice shape. You know what I mean? It's already looks like it's part of the model after you do that. So let's just kind of like start blending them in here. And I really like the pronounced eyelids. I know not every character you do would have a pronounced eyelid, obviously. but I just like the way they look. Like that. Okay, let's start adding some details. Because I think we got the major shapes pretty good. So I'm just using the Draw Sharp brush. I'm going to go in and add some details. Let's actually use the polish brush. Let's clean up some of these artifacts from when we remeshed it. Oops. Oh, it's a little bit too small. So sometimes if things get a little too thin, you can grab this inflate brush, Shift B I guess it is. I didn't know that. But I don't use it that often, but sometimes things get a little bit too thin and you need to inflate them just a little bit. And then, so after I'm happy with this, I'm going to, what's that little thing? Let's turn off the eyeballs. Ooh. That's fine. It's going to have to be fine. It's not going to affect anything. What was I saying? I will go in and I will use the modifier, multi-res modifier. So let's get back to this ear now that we've knocked around that eyeball a little bit. Okay, I have a lot more resolution, or a little bit more geometry now. So I'm just gonna use my grab brush to kind of shape it into what I think an ear looks like. Okay, and then let's we're gonna use the polish brush to start polishing it up. Let's build this up a little bit more, this little floppy deal. This is just the regular draw brush. So right above it, this thing goes in. See, that's part of the problem. This ear is too fat. It's like one of those wrestler ears. Those ears are always weirded me out, man. Okay. So this oops, there it is. This goes like that. I'm just totally messing this ear up. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta like do this. Sometimes you just gotta smooth it out and start all over. You know? I mean, I do. Good people probably don't, but I do. Okay. So this comes down like this. This comes around like this. Got this little Y shape here. At some point, I'm just going to have to call it good. It's not going to be perfect. Okay. So let's make sure this shape looks fine. Still think it's a little bit big. Okay, let's turn on the eyeballs. Let's shade smooth the eyeballs. Let's just do a little bit more details. This is getting longer than I thought it would be, but I'm learning how to do heads. That nose, I know that this part, oops. This part goes down a little bit. I haven't really worked on the nose very much. Let's sharpen the bottom part out. Let's sharpen the nostrils a little bit. Let's polish it a little bit. Give it that nice polished face look that everybody loves. Okay, so now we're going to go through and polish it. All these sharp edges. Let's see if this even looks like a human. Hello, mouth. Okay, let's polish some stuff down here. Just these subtle little wrinkles to kind of help sell the mouth area. Okay, that looks like a man. It's a man's man. It's a man's man. All right, I think this is probably the best male figure that I've ever actually sculpted. So, and I got it on camera. So I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to add a multi-resolution modifier. Oops, not a mirror modifier. Multi-resolution, and I'm going to see how my machine handles this. Because right now I subdivide it once and it goes up to 1.4 faces, 1.4 million faces. So let's see what that does. Oops, let's go back into sculpt mode. I think it's just going to make it so I can like do a lot more really intense detail work, which might be too much for this video. I don't think I have time for that, but it's actually that is actually a kind of a weird here. This one is kind of a weird crease right here. Doesn't go out far enough. So I think it should come out further like that. To go down with the mouth creases. It's This gives us an opportunity to do a little bit more work in some of those smaller details. Oops. Polish that stuff up. So let's, oops, what did I just do? Wrong shortcut. I think, no, I'm gonna mess this up, I know it, because I really like the way these eyeballs look. But I was gonna add a little bit of more fat up here. Let's get that. Sharpen those eyelids. Okay, whatever. I think I'm going to be done with this. I just like it. Like when I get a nice polish on something, it just looks so cool. Not that people have a lot of nice polish on them, but let's try and like even out this ear. Oops. Let's draw sharp again. Just kind of define these like ear canal thingies, ear folds. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do like any sort of hair or anything because I don't want to. And I've got to figure out how to do hair actually first. So maybe one of these days I'll do hair. All right. I think I'm gonna call that good for now. All right. If this recorded, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll make another one. Bye.